Hello, everyone. Today we'll be addressing the issue of becoming a new caregiver since we are now under movement control order. So no external parties should come to our house if we have been engaging nurses or personal assistants before this to be a caregiver at our homes. So let's say you have a family member who is invalid or bedridden, incapable of performing tasks such as feeding, dressing, going to the toilet and whatnot. And now you have to do all these things on your own, a new role of becoming the primary caregiver. So what are the important things that you have to expect? To answer this question, we have with us today Dr. Zaireen Ahmad Zamri, who is the medical officer at Columbia Asia Extended Care Hospital in Shah Alam. Hello, doctor.
Hi.
How
Hi,
are you
Sakina.
doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Alhamdulillah.
That's good to know. As I was saying, doctor, can you explain what should a newly appointed caregiver need to expect when this role has just only become something that is new to him or her?
Okay, all right. Thank you, Sakina, for the introduction. Now, I think this is an important topic to be discussed and addressed, especially in the situation that we are facing in now. Now, when it comes to being a caregiver, either by chance, by plan, or by emergency, it's a huge role and a huge responsibility. And there are two main aspects that you need to monitor and address in this situation. Number one, the patient itself, and number two, the caregiver himself or herself.
Mhm.
If a new caregiver takes over the whole care, the caregiver really need to know what is going on with the patient, what is the disease that they're facing, the medications that they're consuming, the feedings. They need to know some basics of management of activities of daily living, meaning common stuff that we usually do and take for granted, such as feeding, bathing, toileting, grooming. They need to also know some basic medical emergencies. It's not easy, but it is something that you need to know when you actually become a primary caregiver. Now, for the caregiver themselves, either himself or herself, this could be a challenging role because they may have other roles as well. They may be a mom, a dad, a worker, or an executive working from home. So on top of that, they are doing this caregiving. So for me, planning is everything, is crucial. So you need to plan the time. You need to have a plan that is suited to both the caregiver and the patient. Yeah, and the most important thing is that never be afraid to ask for help when you are a caregiver. So there are certain things that the caregiver might find a little bit challenging at home, such as turning a patient or repositioning a patient. So at least if we can demonstrate some key areas such as repositioning, so that we can show the caregivers how it's done. Okay, such as here, this video shows how to reposition a patient with one caregiver at home. So as you can see, you should, first step is always wash your hands first, either with an antiseptic or soap and water. Then put the patient's hands on the upper abdomen and use a draw sheet or a sarong or a bed sheet to pull the patient, lift the patient towards you. Actually, not pull, lift the patient towards you. So as you can see, as in the video, yeah. And if you have a hospital bed, you actually lift the side cord of the bed up, and then you walk over to the opposite side, and keeping your eyes on the patient at all times. And as you can see here, this is the movement you use, the bed sheet or the draw sheet to turn the patient towards you. And then you actually place a pillow at the patient's back and also in between the knees to support the patient's position so that they don't flop back. Yeah. So at least with one caregiver you can actually try and manage this at home. The patient needs to be repositioned every 2 hours in order to prevent bed sores. And this position is also essential when you are giving wipes, or you're giving a wipe down or bed bathing the patient at home. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Um, and then also sometimes, doctor, there will be days when even caregivers can become tired, burnt out, and stressed out. As you mentioned just now, caregivers would also have different roles to play. They are mothers, so they are, wives. So they have to balance house chores, young children, and
Yes.
working from home at the same time.
Yeah.
Are these some of the challenges that a caregiver will face, and how would the caregivers be able to handle this?
All right. When you talk about there's actually a lot of challenges in caregiving. Of course, caregiving is a very rewarding experience, but sometimes you can be overwhelmed with
Mm,
duties of caregiving. You can
yeah,
become anxious and even intimidated by the duties that you have. Being a caregiver. So some of these challenges includes managing your time,
mm,
your space, yeah, your own private space.
mm,
Having some financial constraints or difficulties.
mm,
You may be having physical and emotional exhaustion, lack of
mm,
sleep because
mm,
of new schedule, and you may have to be awake late at night to take care of the
mm,
patient. So usually in this situation, some of the tips that I can give is: number one, get support. Talk to other family members, talk to your friends, talk to families. You can even talk to a counselor to
mm.
actually overcome some of your own feelings.
Yeah,
Um, self care at this point, I think, is very important, because the self care and love that you give to yourself is
yeah,
the care that you actually give to your loved ones and to the people that
yeah,
you are caring for. So you need to have support. You need to have breaks as well, because you as a caregiver is also important. You are also important. So
mm,
you need to have some breaks, or what we call in
right.
medical terms respite, short breaks that is beneficial for your own health. Um, don't ever be afraid to ask for help. Learn to ask from help from other family members.
Mm,
For you may have support groups out there who can
mm,
actually assist you. Yeah, so don't ever be afraid. Sometimes in big families, what they do is that sometimes they delegate the duties. They come up with schedules, so they delegate. Okay, you do this, you do that. So that sort of like equates the whole responsibility, but it doesn't stress the caregiver. So it can be one person, it can be more than one person. So the other thing that you really need to do as a caregiver is take really good care of yourself, physically and emotionally. That is
mm.
the most important thing.
I see. Looking at this current situation, what if suddenly the caregiver gets ill, becomes sick? Let's say suddenly she has the flu, but she still needs to take care of her charge. So,
Mm-mm.
how you advise this kind of situation?
Okay, now, I mean, of course, the best is prevention is better than cure, Sakina. Try not to fall ill, but we are human beings, yeah. So what I can say is that, number one, keep yourself healthy. Practice good self hygiene. Clean the surfaces of your homes, as what we always do. And if the caregiver falls ill, not just with a cold and flu, but other ailments as well. Um, uh, Especially when you are staying in the same environment with the patient. Number one, you need to have some physical distancing. Yeah, practice physical distancing so that the patient that is under your care doesn't fall ill as well. You need to consult a doctor about your symptoms. Okay, and from there on, see what the doctor advises. You will need to get help, because you can't be taking care of the patient when you yourself is unwell. So you need to get help. So my advice is, take good care of yourself. If you're not well, practice physical distancing. But remember, do not neglect the patient that is under your care. Get help. Ask for help.
Okay, doctor. What can you say about people who have just only becoming caregivers? Maybe there is some motivation for them. If you could perhaps tell us the benefits or the satisfaction that comes with being a caregiver.
All right. Okay, satisfactions of being a caregiver. Okay, now, like I've said before, caregiving can be a genuinely rewarding experience. Basically, when you become a caregiver, you put your heart and soul into taking care of the patient. So like how you take care of your children, but when it comes to patient, it's something that is a little bit different. You learn something new every day about the patient. It may be something that you were not aware of before this, but at least you learn something new about the patient, either medically or the patient's physical, some physical attributes or emotional attributes. It's a learning experience every day. There's always something for you to learn every day. And when you become a caregiver, I'm sure you will feel that I'm doing my best for this patient. So it's something that I feel it's very rewarding. So that can actually alleviate some of the anxiety and the feeling of being overwhelmed by the long duties of being a caregiver. And that is how you also tell yourself and prep yourself to be a better caregiver in the days to come.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Doctor. We were just with Dr. Zaireen Ahmad Zamri, who is the medical officer from the Asia Extended Care Hospital in Shah Alam. She has been with the hospital for 9 years, so she is actually the best person to talk to us about caregivers, as our extended care hospital deals a lot with patients who are bedridden and whatnot. If you have any questions, you can leave those questions in the comment section below. We will get them answered by Dr. Zaireen. Okay, Doctor, that would be all. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye. Have a good day.
Okay, bye.